What's going on, guys? Welcome to another Doctor Who Classic Review. Today I'm going to be reviewing the 7th Doctor Sylvester McCoy story, Silver Nemesis. This is the final Cyberman story of the classic series. It's also, I believe, the story set over the period of Doctor Who's 25th anniversary. That season 25 was the 25th anniversary season, but I'm fairly certain that Silver Nemesis was the story broadcast over the actual proper 25th anniversary date. It's called Silver Nemesis. They went for silver because, silver, 25th anniversary, silver anniversary. So yeah, this is basically the 25th anniversary special, although a lot of people say that it doesn't really deserve to be that. But anyway, let's get started. This is Silver Nemesis by Kevin Clark. Earth, 1988. While the Doctor and Ace flee from emotionless men wielding futuristic pistols, neo-Nazi Herd de Flores is intent on heralding the Fourth Reich. Meanwhile, the villainous Lady Penfort uses black magic to propel herself forward from 1638 for a final confrontation with her sworn enemy, the Doctor. And at the same time, a spacecraft full of Cybermen sets down on Earth. As the Doctor desperately evades multiple enemies, a meteor containing a Gallifreyan superweapon is hurtling ever nearer to the planet. Whoever controls the statue will hold the power of life or death over the entire universe. So, I suppose a fairly interesting little plot synopsis on the back of the DVD there, not really too much to say, but yeah, Silver Nemesis, the final Cyberman story of the classic series. I'd heard pretty bad things about this one, to be honest. I'd heard that, this is the first time I've watched it. I have heard that it's not the most loved story of all time, so yeah, I was interested to see what I'd think of it. Anyway, let's get started with the cast. So Sylvester McCoy is the 7th Doctor. He's pretty good here. I think he is. Season 25, he is really starting to come into his own, we've already had him in Remembrance of the Daleks, and he was great in that. And yeah, I mean, he's really filling in to his shoes very well at this current point. He has quite a few funny comedic moments, which Sylvester McCoy does very well, but sometimes they're a bit over the top. Thankfully in this series they're not quite as over the top as they were in season 24, but yeah, there are still some of those silly, weird moments, and there are a few in here that I think are a bit kind of out of place. They just kind of feel like they're forced in there. This isn't necessarily a comedic story, but it does definitely have, well actually I say that, it probably is in a way. It does have quite a few comedy elements to it. Yeah, it is an interesting story in that aspect, and yeah, Sylvester McCoy though, he does a very good job. Same goes for Sophie Aldred as Ace. I love Ace, I love her more and more every time I see her, and I think she's pretty good in this one. She does quite a lot actually in this story, and does good with what she's got, but yeah, I mean, as an actress she does very, very well, Sophie Aldred. I really, really like her, and yeah, there's nothing really bad to say about the main cast in this one. Alright, so on to the good and the bad, starting off with the good. The Doctor wearing a fez and holding a mop. What was this? Was this an intentional thing that they brought back? If you don't know, I believe it's the Pandora opens, or I think it would be the Big Bang, which is a series 5 finale of the new series with Matt Smith. He wears, because obviously Matt Smith, the 11th Doctor, wears a fez quite often, and in that episode he wears a fez and he has a mop with him. When he has to go back and he has to like give Rory the sonic screwdriver, and he's in the museum and all that sort of stuff. He's wearing a fez and a mop, and in this episode the 7th Doctor wears a fez and is holding a mop. When he's like when they're walking through the bottom of Windsor Castle or wherever they are, and I just thought, was that intentional? It's funny actually, because this and the last story I reviewed, which was Revelation of the Daleks, both times we've had kind of call forwards, I suppose you'd call them, call forwards to things that would happen in the new series. So yeah, something that I just thought was pretty funny and interesting. The Cybermen's entrance is actually pretty badass and well shot. I was quite surprised at how good some of the, I say good for the time, how good some of the CGI and effects were in this one, and that actually does lead me on to one of my later points, which is that some good effects for the time. Yeah, I mean, the Cybermen ship looks decent. It definitely looks fake. I mean, there's no doubting that at all. It really does just look like they've just got a picture, or a 3D model in this case. I don't think it is a picture. I think it is a 3D model, whether it's CGI or whether it's a made model. It actually looks more CGI to me, but it looks decent for 1988. It doesn't look too bad. and it flying around looks a bit strange, but it doesn't look terrible. But then when the Cybermen are revealed, they come out of their ship, they start walking out of the ship, and the zoom, they have the zoom onto the Cybermen walking out, the way they're walking out. It's really well shot, it's really well directed. It was a very good cliffhanger for the first part. If you didn't know the Cybermen were going to come into this story, which of course I did, but you know, I just thought it was a very well shot and directed part of the episode, so I really thought that was cool. Ace blowing up the cyber ship, she uses, you know, bloody Ace and her bombs all the time. She ends up blowing up the cyber ship, which is always cool, you know, seeing Ace blow some stuff up. You know, she's always got her bombs, or she's got a baseball bat to bash Daleks with. There's always something. So you know, I like how the Doctor's like, you know, you wouldn't have kept those I can't remember what it was, but the bombs in your bag, would you? You wouldn't do that, because that wouldn't be very responsible of you, would it? And she's like, no, I'd never do that. I'd never disobey what you're saying, Doctor. And he's like, yes, and I'm sure you wouldn't just go and blow up the Cyberman ship, would you? You just wouldn't do that. Like, nah, I would never do that. And then he just kind of smirks at her and she goes and does it. And I do find that interesting for the 7th Doctor as well. The 7th Doctor is actually quite ruthless. He's a bit of a strange Doctor because he's very comedic and very silly. One of the silliest Doctors of them all, to be honest, a lot of the time. But then he's also very ruthless. I mean, in Remembrance of the Daleks, he pretty much says, yeah, screw it, I'm going to destroy all the Daleks. Which, you know, Tom Baker, the 4th Doctor, couldn't do in Genesis. He just couldn't put himself to do it. Whereas the 7th Doctor, he just goes and pretty much does it. And then, yeah, there's a lot of moments like here where he's just like, yeah, just go and blow it up. I don't care, just go and blow it up. Get my companion to go out and just blow up the ship. It's something that the 7th Doctor, it's really interesting with the 7th Doctor, because he is very different to other Doctors in that regard. Finally, again, talking about Ace, Ace making 2 Cybermen shoot each other. You know, when she's being chased by like 3 Cybermen on top of that, well, on top of the like warehouse. She's like on the roof of the warehouse or wherever she is, kind of like in the scaffolding beams at the top or whatever they are. And I believe she shoots one of them with, she has like a slingshot, and I'm not sure, I'm guessing it has gold on the end of it. She has like a gold, I don't know, something gold, because that seems to be the only thing that can kill him. She shoots one of them, the leader actually. She decides to shoot the cyber leader, and then the other 2 Cybermen that are there try to shoot her, but she ducks and they shoot each other. I just thought that, once again, a very well shot scene. I think the action in this story is actually really good, especially with the classic series. There is some good action here, well shot, well lit, just some really exciting stuff, and yeah, that is definitely one of those moments. Alright, so on to the bad. There are a couple of things to talk about here. First of all, the Cybermen die way too easily to the poisonous golden arrows. Now, I don't see where the poison really, I don't see the point of the poison. You know, they go on about how these arrows that they've made, you know, the people from like 1600s, they've made these arrows, they've got poison on the end of them, and then they're also made of gold. I don't really see the point of the poison, because we know from the fact that when, I can't remember who it was, but somebody threw like gold dust on the Cybermen in like their chest plate piece, like threw just gold dust. That wasn't poison, that was just gold dust, and it died. It blew up and died, the Cyberman. So the point of the poison on the end of the gold doesn't make much sense to me, because the gold itself can kill them. So why do you need the poison? It's not even like they go ahead. They don't actually, from what I remember, they don't kill anyone else with the arrows. The arrows don't kill any people. They only kill Cybermen. So what's the point of the poison if you're not going to use it? I mean, maybe they tried to kill a couple of people. They tried to shoot the Doctor, but they failed. And from what I remember, they don't kill anyone else with the arrows, just Cybermen. So what's the point of the poison? But then, not just that, but I do think that the way that Cybermen die, kind of, their big weakness is gold. It's not great. I haven't actually personally seen it before. I believe it was introduced in Revenge of the Cybermen, which I haven't watched yet. Got to get around to that one. But yeah, it's a thing from then onwards that has come up now and again. Yeah, the Cybermen, gold is their weakness, and I think it is a bit of a stupid weakness. I mean, the fact that they can just, you know, they're getting shot by just guns, by bullets, and they're totally fine, but then they just get shot by an arrow with gold on the end of it and they die. It's such a shit weakness. It just feels like such a boring way, and especially the way they defeat him as well. Just like, oh yeah, just shoot him with some gold. There we go, they're defeated. You know, that last one, the other guy from the 1600s saves the Doctor, just stabs the gold into his chest, that last Cyberman. Just feels like such a boring, bland way to finish it off. So yeah, I don't like the weakness of the gold with the Cybermen. The people from the past, in my opinion, are a bit too silly. I think it's De Flores and Carl. I think is it Lady Penfort and maybe Richard? I don't know. Whoever the two people, it's Lady Penfort and I think Richard, whoever the other guy is, who come from the 1600s. Not really a fan of those characters. They're kind of just there. I don't know if there's a, you know, it says on the back of the DVD that, and it says in the story, that she's met the Doctor before and she wants to kill him for some reason. I don't know if that's something that has come up in another story that I'm just forgetting about, or if it's a story that I haven't seen, or maybe it's just something that is just been made up for this story. I don't know, but personally I just found those two characters to be, they were trying to be the comedy in a lot of ways, and they just weren't really funny. They were a bit annoying. Some of the weird things they were saying, you know, like when they were in the car, because they didn't know what a car was, obviously, from the time they were from. That was some pretty funny stuff, but apart from that, they just were kind of annoying, and yeah, wasn't really a fan of them. And then, just altogether, the whole plot just seems a bit random with this one. I'm not really a big fan of the plot, because I don't understand why this woman hates the Doctor in the way that she does. Once again, that might just be me missing something, or just not seeing something yet, that I haven't, you know, something in the past that I haven't seen. Just, the Cybermen don't really feel needed. It feels like they have chose the Cybermen because silver anniversary, Cybermen are silver, they're made of metal, they're silver, we'll have the Cybermen. This story could have worked with any other villain, and probably could have worked better with some other villains actually, instead of the Cybermen, because, you know, we don't have anything really in here at all about the Cybermen converting people and stuff like that we usually do in Cybermen stories. It's literally just the Cybermen just happen to be the villain for this story. So yeah, I think the plot itself is a little bit of a letdown. So, Silver Nemesis, what did I think? Well, I mean, I actually give this one a higher rating. I'll tell you right now that originally I give this a 5 out of 10, which isn't a high rating. By the way, an average for me, an average rating is 7 out of 10. Confusing, I know, but average is 7 out of 10. I give this one a 5 originally. Now thinking back on it, I've actually put that down to a 4 out of 10, because I give it a 5 because of the action scenes and that, but then I thought about it and I thought, well, by that, you know, I should really give like Hellbent or something a 5 out of 10, but I wouldn't give Hellbent a 5 out of 10, I'll tell you that right now. I'd give it much lower. So I thought, yeah, I should give this a little bit lower. I need to be harsher with my rankings, so a 4 out of 10 for Silver Nemesis is what I'm going for. It's fairly enjoyable to watch, but the plot's pretty much just meh. The plot's really just kind of there. There's some real issues there. The Cybermen don't really seem needed and are defeated, and just kind of, you know, I just don't like the whole gold thing. They seem to be defeated too easily. And yeah, there's some good moments in there, but ultimately it's not the best. But anyway, that's going to be it for this video, guys. Thank you very much for watching. If you enjoyed, please go ahead, like and subscribe. Go check out my Twitter, link is in the description below, and I'll see you guys in the next video.